I spent a good chunk yesterday watching a show called Pluto. Have
Okay.
Have you heard of Pluto?
I have heard of Pluto more than so. Two things I've heard about Pluto. It's by Naoki Urasawa,
Urasawa.
who did Monster, which is my
Yeah.
one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my life, which I keep
Yeah.
trying to convince the wife to watch. And
Yeah.
I knew this even before I learned of it because I saw a picture of a character in Pluto and went, "Is that a new Monster spinoff? What is that?" Like that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's style is 1 to 1. He
Okay,
has
so
exactly the way he wants to draw people, and that is the way he's going to draw
so
them.
as a fan of Monster, 20th Century Boys, and now Pluto, I can tell you one thing right out of the gate. That motherfucker is enamored with a long haired, shaggy, hobo looking fucker wearing a
Yeah.
trench coat. That
He loves it.
character will show up
He
at
loves
some
it.
point
His
in
favorite.
everything. Oh my god. Like like Japanese man who's seen some shit, just letting the hair shag out and who's wearing a long brown trench coat. It always happens. It always does.
The other thing that I found out about Pluto is that it is. I'm like, oh, how many episodes? It's like there's 8 episodes, and they're each an hour long, and I'm like, what the fuck? Anime releases 8 1 hour long episodes.
The kind of fucker that puts out 50 episodes of Monster and however many of 20th Century Boys because he tells long stories. Pluto is fucking incredible. It's so good. It's so good. And I mean, obviously, considering how great, again, 20th Century and Monster are, it should not surprise me at all. But yet again, here we are. And I'm reminded of how much I enjoyed those things because it there's an element to the art style that is like super that's being respected here, where it's like, okay, we want to make it look like the way the manga did. And with 20th Century Boys, with Monster, like I get a vibe that's similar to when I watch like something from Satoshi Kon, where the characters are meant to be very grounded in reality. People are meant to look realistic,
Like people, they're very
like
flawed.
people. You can exactly, and you can expect to see. You could see a live action casting of a lot of these types of people as well. And I just
When I
love.
talked about Monster on this podcast a million years ago, I was like, there's absolutely nothing in Monster that would stop it from being perfectly adapted to live action.
Of course, in fact,
There's nothing in it. The designs, the scope,
yeah,
the scale, the tone.
yeah,
It's
like
it's
Satoshi
just
Kon.
it's just a drama
and
that
and
was drawn instead of filmed.
I don't remember if Monster was adapted, but 20th Century Boys was made into a live action film, right? So,
Monster was not, because we would have heard about it.
So, but it's super possible, absolutely. And I think like, at risk of like sounding too fucking boomer on the animes and shit, but I also get that when it comes to whatever, I take my criticisms, but I think what I love is that the average person in an Urasawa story is not beautiful or attractive necessarily. They're just people, right? They have big noses and small noses and weird shaped faces and eyes that are all over the place, and they're not all classically beautiful, perfect characters, which is not what you're used to seeing in anime, right? And so what that means is when someone does show up that is bishonen beautiful, you're like, oh fuck, that there's a point, right? That character is like it has they stand out, in a way that
Like,
someone like that with that level of charisma would stand out in the world. And in
like
the
I don't
case
have a
of
lot of experience with 20th Century Boys, but I remember in Monster, like half or more of all characters are like older guys, like in their 40s or 50s, who are like a little bit over the hill and like have big noses and like kind of pudgy faces and shit. Like they look like dudes.
Yeah. So like when you have this world where you're so used to just seeing normal people and like again flaw and shag and 5 o'clock shadows and tired old ass men and and tired ass women, when fucking baby Hitler with perfect hair and beautiful features comes through and is like, I am charisma. It actually feels like that's happening because of how much that character design stands out in contrast to the rest of the fucking setting, right? Monster's incredible with that. I think it's using the art style that we know and are used to in a way that like maximizes its impact, and I feel like I've only really seen that with with Urasawa's stories. I know that, again, I'm comparing it as well to like I guess Satoshi Kon, but like Miyazaki as well will like design a nice old person with fucking bags under the eyes and just all those little details and stuff. But it feels really nice here in Pluto, seeing these characters who you may or may not recognize in some cases, seeing as, hey, guess what? This is a fucking Astro Boy story. But you're seeing them in like this kind of human form. It's pretty cool.
The creator of Astro Boy in this story is named Dr. Tenma.
That is the creator of Astro Boy.
Oh, I was not familiar with the reference.
Yeah. No. It actually is. So I started it not knowing at anything about it. I just pressed play completely cold. So it was very interesting in getting introduced to this setting and then hitting the like, oh fuck. wait, this is about what? Right? And I mean, it's like, yeah, and because like you literally fucking Adam is like just walks on screen and you're like, oh, this is an Astro Boy story.
Astro Boy.
I had no
yeah,
idea.
I also was weirded out. Even I'm like, oh, people are talking about Pluto, and I saw like a big evil man with the horns. Like, oh, cool. And then I like clicked on it and saw like, is that just Astro Boy?
And it's like, well, no, that's a character from the old Tezuka fucking manga, right? Like that's what it is. And yeah, not just Tenma, but like Uran, the Astro Boy sister, the Dr. Light equivalent, Ocheno Mizu, who's like in there as well. Like, so I'll say that like, if you don't know anything about Astro Boy, this is still a very good story. I'm 4 episodes.
I know that Mega Man is just Astro Boy.
Yeah, it really is.
That's what I know.
It really, really is. I'm 4 episodes in, so I haven't finished it yet. But of halfway through it, I'll say that like, not if you don't know any of the references of what's going on and you just kind of know vaguely what Astro Boy is, that's more than fine. It's a very good story and it's really, really well done in a self-contained way. But if you do happen to vaguely know that like, oh, Dr. Tenma created Astro Boy and Dr. Ochanomizu created Uran, and like there's the basics of what the story is. Just like, here's a background character that sets up, because Astro Boy has been rebooted many times. There's been many different versions of it, and there's lefts and rights and zigs and zags, but the constants are the origin story characters, like with any like Western comic, right? So if you kind of are just like vaguely familiar with that, it'll help. And it'll be a little bit like, oh shit. Because I remember like, there's like 1 or 2 character reveals where you're like, oh fuck. Oh, I see what you just cut to there. I know who that is, And it is interesting kind of like having an idea of, this is what this character is supposed to be. What is this world's version going to be of them, But don't hang too much on that, because it's still very enjoyable even if you don't know too much about Astro Boy. It's a departure from what I'm used to as well with the previous 2 stories I'm referencing. Monster is very just real life, right? Whenever it gets into the fantastical, it's like
it's a metaphor for
it's metaphorical,
or like people think something fantastical is happening, but it's
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
They're being actively tricked.
Yes, and the camera and the music and the fucking visuals will make you like magic is happening, but it's not really. We're still hanging out here in Germany. And 20th Century Boys is also very much like that. You're like, oh shit, fucked up, insane things are happening. No, we're still in reality. But how about what?
We're still in melodramatic reality.
Yes. Whereas here, we're in Astro. We're in the future. There are robots. There are robots that walk around and are, completely
Your friend.
human in appearance, and we're beginning with the world where the laws of robotics have been introduced, and we are now straight in the proper Yoko Taro ethical dilemmas, and I say the Yoko Taro as opposed to the David Cage versions, of course.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of take it from there, from episode 1. The story is like kind of opening out, starting on your main character, Gesicht. I'm gonna try to pronounce, like, when they say it, it's a little bit, well, they're saying
My German's non-existent, so
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try and help you.
No, but in any case, and but you're following this character, and you're just, it feels like a lot of the issues you're seeing are like just grown ass man problems and grown ass man solutions, and then here's like a little hint of like, here's a little bit of Astro Boy, and then here's some more, and then here's some more, but like, what if this is what was happening in the bright and colorful, like sort of Tezuka style, and then what if the camera just kind of went right over here to like this dank basement where like the war crimes were happening.
Oh, right, yeah.
While the cat, like, like right in frame, there he is. Da-da-da-da. Adam, he's awesome. What's happening? Right. Just ooh, that's bad. That's a huge war crime happening right over there.
So up here, Hanna-Barbera could be pals with Harvey Birdman and Speed Racer. Down here, how you doing, Johan?
Yeah, and so you get that. There's proper. It's like obviously, like, I'm saying Astro Boy, but like really you're getting the feeling of True Detective season 1. You're getting the feeling of big hard feelings of that.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
I'm dead serious about that. You couldn't possibly imagine how much of that vibe is there.
Is the theme of Pluto don't go to Louisiana?
I mean,
how did you not answer that with no very quickly? How did you even have to think about that?
I think so I'm only halfway through, but the theme of Pluto might be that the lie told about weapons of mass destruction has devastating ramifications, and the disposal of Saddam Hussein and the Iraq war in the post 9/11 world is still being felt to this day. It is going places, dude. It is going places, and it is not afraid to do it. And what's awesome is, while you have this type of fucking awesome storytelling going on, let's literally cut sometimes to a story over here, again, off camera, somewhere over here, and you'll be like, did I like accidentally click skip episode? What am I watching? What is
it led back
in. Incredible. It's so good. Yeah, I it's obviously it's been a long time since the last Urasawa stuff that I've seen, so I kind of like, I haven't forgotten, but I'm like, oh, I'm feeling what I did going through those things in the beginning again, where I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. It's like how when I was talking about like the Slam Dunk movie, I was like, oh right, Inoue fucking kicks ass. I forgot for a minute. I didn't forget, but like you're like, oh yeah, just a reminder that this motherfucker's doing it. And when he decides to work on a project, it's gonna be like amazing. It's that, and
Inoue is the artist on Slam Dunk.
Pardon me? Oh yes, and Vagabond.
Okay, so the guy who also did the One Punch Man redraws.
One or
no, because there's the two. There's One Punch Man, the webcomic, and then there's One Punch Man, the most incredible looking paneling I've ever seen in my life.
Is it Obata? Am I getting that wrong?
That's somebody else. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a.
I thought Murata was the Slam Dunk guy.
One in Murata. Okay, Murata. No. Slam Dunk guy is Takahiko Inoue, who's Vagabond.
Oh, Murata did Ice Shield 21, which is the football
guy. Right. And Inoue also did Real, the wheelchair basketball.
Anyway. It's called Wheel?
No, Real.
Oh.
Real. It's not called Wheel. It's not called Wheel. It's called Real. that would have been a little on the nose, but that's not what happened. Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
Nope, that's Discord. Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah. Anyway, the thing, of course, is it helps that same 20th Century Boys monster art style that we're talking about is also just enveloped in gorgeous quality animation. It like bringing like CG plus traditional style mixed medium scenes. The integration of like special effects and things are just like awesome. So action is not the point of the stories he tells, but when it does happen, it's fucking impeccable. And it makes sense now that I'm hearing that this is apparently like almost a decade in the making of a project that's been developed for a really long time, because it looks incredible and every episode is a fucking hour long. It's dense and gorgeous, So yeah, at risk of saying too much more, it just goes places. And
wow, I'm watching little bits of this trailer. Wow, this looks incredible.
Yeah, and again, there's been multiple times where I'm just like following the story, and then just you get jarringly reminded of like what it's about. And you're like, oh my god, wait, where was I? What just happened? It's really the hours are dense, but great. So you're gonna feel after you've watched one episode as if you've watched 3.
Well, you have.
Yes,
really,
you actually have. That's true. If you're kind
the
of
average anime is 19 minutes long, plus
not
opening and intro, outro, and ads and whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so by traditional metrics, I guess I've seen like 12 episodes if you you go by that. So yeah, Pluto, really, really, really cool so far, and yeah, I'm gonna just go finish that shit off. And again, if you feel like it, I suppose you can just briefly like read a quick synopsis of like what Astro Boy is about. But in most cases, it's just like there's Astro Boy. He was made by this Dr. Tenma, and he's got his family, he's got his little sis, and the good guy stuff. And there's these other characters that are bad guys sometimes, and there'll often be like in most versions this kind of happens or that kind of happens. So yeah, if you do want to like briefly know about that, it might add, but it's not at all mandatory. I just clicked play myself, so yeah, it's on Netflix, by the way. So yeah, and Netflix, I guess, knows aggressively that I want to watch it, because when I opened it up, it was like on my preview profile thing, first recommend, like based on literally everything you've ever clicked on, you probably want to watch this, you know? Um, so
I do want to watch this.
yeah, big recommend.